Hello, friends, and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. This is our 3-month update. It's actually the middle of November, but because we road schooled at the very end of October and into November, I'm not counting that, and so I just wanted to kind of update you and show you a few things. One thing that did change in the classroom is right before I left, I went ahead and raised this table and made it to where she could like stand up and work. And then we're also finding that we're just kind of down in the floor a little bit more right now. And so this has been a little bit of a nice change. Something else that wasn't here last time is that big stack of Life of Fred books. I ended up picking them all up all the way from apples to Minecraft. So I'm really excited about that and having all of them. But for the most part, all of this is the same, and then we've raised our table, which we are enjoying. But let's get into the curriculum and let's talk about some of the things that have maybe changed and that we're going to be changing and things that are going really well. So if this is your first time here, I'm a homeschool mom to a first grader, and we love all things books and homeschool. And so if you're interested in those things, hit that subscribe button for me, give me a thumbs up, and let's get started. Alright, so let's get started on our curriculums here, and if you saw my 1-month update, you'll see that I had switched over to this basket, and I am still loving that very much. It's so nice to just be able to grab it, take it into the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom, wherever we want to school at, and just having pretty much everything here. There are a few things that I do use that's not in here, and one of those is Life of Fred, and I just haven't incorporated it into this yet. I like it better over on the shelf, and so I don't know that it will join the basket, but we're still going along with this little indescribable book. We're enjoying the first language lessons. We're going along with that. The roller coaster rider, it's still going very well. She is just loving cursive. I never have any complaint with her doing writing, and so this is going along well. The All About Spelling, we are still doing that, but we haven't done it in a little bit because, like I said, we were road schooling, and so with the roller coaster rider, we did take that with us, so we were able to keep up with that, and so we will be picking this back up in the middle of November and going on. One thing that I had taken out last time is the Handwriting Without Tears. I went ahead and we started this a couple days ago after we got back from road schooling because I noticed that some of her print was starting to need a little bit of work. And so even though we're working on cursive, I don't want print to fall behind. She's pretty much exclusively writing in cursive most of the time. And so I wanted to kind of get this back out to get a little bit of work on it. Sassafras Zoology. This is going really good. We're almost done with this. I expect that we will be done with this in December, and so we will be starting Story of the World, our history curriculum, in January. That is the plan. So this has just been a great curriculum. We've both really enjoyed it, and the read-along is just great to go with that. Another thing that's going great is All About Reading. This is just working so smoothly. We're not rushing it. There have been times that we have slowed it down just to make sure. And so when we went on road school, we actually just took the reader with us. And so we got a lot of extra reading time, which was really nice. Now, one thing I kind of want to talk about that's a little bit different and that is changing to some degree is math. So let me get that all out for a minute. So if you've watched very many of my videos, you know that I am a giant fan of Singapore math. She has always been a fan as well. In our first month, it went fantastic. She was loving it. There were no problems whatsoever. She was wanting to do more work with it. So we were writing in the textbook. We were writing in the workbook. We were doing a lesson every day. There wasn't any problem. And then the first week of September, or the second week of September, it's just there started to become an issue with this. And so she didn't want to write in the textbook anymore, so we took that away. That was no big deal. Then she started not wanting to do the workbook very much, and so then I was writing for her. She would answer, she would write it. Again, not a big deal. But there was just, every time we bring out most of our curriculum, there's not a sigh or a huff or anything sad. But she was starting to get a little bit of discouragement possibly with this. It's not that it was hard. It wasn't hard for her. She just didn't want to do it. And one thing is maybe she just didn't want to do math. I don't know. But then we introduced our Life of Fred again. And we started incorporating this in with the Singapore. And so we would do Singapore and we would do Life of Fred, because Life of Fred is really short and it didn't take long. She loved Life of Fred so much and still does, and she asked to do it all the time. And so we did this. I ended up finding the whole set like I showed you earlier, so we have them all now. And, well, we have all of the elementary series, and then we have the intermediate series, which is Life of Fred, Kidneys, Liver, and Mine Shaft. I think I said Minecraft earlier. Oh, goodness. So we went on a road schooling trip, and we took Life of Fred. We took this Brain Quest workbook. We had our roller coaster rider, and then we had our All About Reading reader. There wasn't any issue ever doing our math when we did our elementary series with Life of Fred and when we did workbook pages out of the Brain Quest workbook. So it got me to thinking, and there were even times when we would do this that she would be like, we didn't do any math today when we had done this. And you do math every time in this. This is what this is. This is a math series, but to her, it doesn't feel like math because it is brought into a different way. And then we do these math worksheets. I mean, you can see we're definitely doing math in here. We're doing addition. We were doing subtraction in here. There was different forms of addition. She didn't have any problems whatsoever doing these workbook pages. And so then I got to thinking, and I started asking her what it was about this curriculum that we were having these issues with, because I don't know if you know, but there is like a spiral type of teaching, and then there is a mastery type of teaching. Dimensions Math is mastery, which means that you're going to keep going over everything until you've mastered it. There's other programs that are spiral, where it's Life of Fred is spiral. It's going to introduce different topics. You're going to be talking about addition. You're going to be talking about fractions. You're going to be talking about clockwork and money all in the same lesson. And so I asked her if it was the fact that we kind of did the same thing over and over and over. And she said that she thought it might be. And so that is where we are going to be doing some modification with math. And so we're going to see how that goes. This is where I am on math right now, is I'm not really sure, but I'm going to try. And I've picked up a new workbook that I'm going to show you in just 1 minute. And let me show you what I'm planning to do for math. Before I do that, I did want to say I took this with us, and this was a great, great book to have along because we were able to do so many things, and we just had this one workbook. And so I am very glad that I picked this up, and I'm pretty happy with the workbook overall also. All right, so back to my math dilemma. And again, it's not that these aren't great programs, and it's not that this isn't working. This is working. It just doesn't, she's not having the attitude that I want her to have about math. And so this is my plan. I watched a video from Project Happy Home where she reviewed this Arithmetic 1 from Abeka. She is a secular homeschooler, and I've just found so many wonderful resources from her. And when she was flipping through this and she was talking about how she, uses Mammoth Math, which is very intriguing to me, by the way, because it is very, very similar to Singapore, but there's all these online resources and games that you can play, and it's more spiral in where Singapore is very mastery. So it brings in these different components for every lesson. But for first grade, I'm going to try to make this work because I already have 1B. And like I said, it's not that this isn't working. I just want to build a better attitude around doing the math. So my plan is we are going to do Singapore Dimensions Math a few days a week. And then we are going to do Life of Fred and this new arithmetic book the other day. So every other day, we're going to be swapping back and forth. And that way, it's not mastery, mastery, mastery. spiral, 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 we can mix and match. And I really think this is going to work. We have already kind of started this, except we haven't started this yet. What I was doing is I was using my Life of Fred with either my Star Wars workbook or that Brain Quest workbook that I had. So that's what I was doing with this, but I'm really excited to get into this. I actually found this on sale, and so I was pretty excited to get this at a discounted price. And I am going to be having a video where I flip through this. So if you're interested, be sure and check back because I'm going to be recording that in just a few days. But this is my plan for math. Again, math is not going bad. It's just not going the way I want it. So I'm going to start rotating these every other day and see if that helps. Because what I thought was a workbook issue, I don't think it is. And what's awesome with this is Life of Fred has just a few sections of your turn to play. And then this appears to only be like a front and back page for every day. And it looks a little bit different and it looks kind of fun. So this is where I am on math. I'm hoping my next update, I'm going to be like, this went wonderfully. The planner in me kind of like icks at the fact that I'm not going to finish 1A and 1B doing it this way at the end of the school year because we will be rotating every day. But there is a chance that we could just maybe skip a few. But either way, it doesn't really matter. But like I said, the planner in me wants to like have A and B finished at the end of first grade. But I would much rather have a happy end of first grade and be a little bit off versus an unhappy math situation. So let's keep looking at what I've got going. So for the rest of the time, what we're going to be doing here is we are going to be doing this fun little Thanksgiving unit study, and I have a video on that if you want to see what all is in this. And then I have this little basket over here, which is usually where Fred lives, and I don't know, I just really, really like having him in this basket. I don't know what it is, but I think it's the size of the book just fits really nicely in here. This is a little notebook that we're using for Your Turn to Play on Life of Fred, and so that goes in here. We are not really doing either one of these Tinker Actives right now, and so they're just staying over to the side. In month 1, I shared my struggles with this. A couple of you gave me some really good recommendations for that, and thank you so much. I have definitely looked into those, and I'm still deciding what I want to do. I'm thinking I'm just going to push through this and get it over with because we are almost done with it. And then we love this. We're almost done with that. I wish it was bigger. We're trying to stretch it out because it's so fun. And this one kind of saddens me a little bit. I had so much expectations for this, and it's not that it's not good, but I just haven't got to use it. Our temperatures didn't play well with us this fall. It got cold really quickly, and so we weren't able to kind of follow along with it because of our temperature changes. And then with road schooling, you know, we weren't here. And so like we did a load of exploring while we were road schooling, which I loved. But this is not something that I'm incorporating yet. And so it's beautiful. I can't wait to use it. But I'm actually just debating of just maybe starting this in the spring. And that way I don't feel so bad about not using it and just putting it over and knowing that, hey, this is coming back out in the spring or the summer, and then we'll really get into it because you can start at any time. Besides that, everything else is kind of going along the way that it was. Again, I'm super excited about having all of these. I'm excited to see if our math is going to continue to be the way we want it to be. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!